Hello, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel. And today we're just going to have a quick tour around the 3 plots, see what's going on, and pretty much everything now is focused on autumn and winter, late autumn and winter really. So doing lots of planting, doing lots of preparing beds, ready for seedling planting and lots of seedlings. And that's happening in the polytunnel and all the beds as well. So it's kind of an exciting time because it's kind of like a renewal of everything. And we've had a few problems, but I'll show you those as I go around. And let's get on. So as always, let's take a look at the polytunnel first. I've taken out one of my old couple of gherkin plants and put in some new fem spots, and they're growing away quite nicely now, and hopefully those will give us lots of cucumbers well into winter. And I can, because of the way I've got them there, I can wrap them in fleece, and so yeah, I'm hoping to keep cucumbers going as long as possible. Never done this before, like most things. I've also got my runner bean plant here, and this has just reached the top now, and so again, hopefully runner beans late into the season. Tomatoes are doing great. Debbie is making passata like every day, and we're stocking up the cupboard. What else have we got? We've got a few extra fem spots here that I didn't expect to germinate, but they did. So I've popped them in these hanging baskets. Goodness knows whether they'll actually do anything in there. Cucumbers though are actually still doing fine. So some of the existing plants, especially the ones that are planted in the soil, are still pretty vigorous, but anyway, I'm just expecting them not to last, hence planting the new ones. More tomatoes, more cucumbers. These beefsteaks are starting to come now. It's interesting seeing Mike Curtis's videos. He's had beefsteaks for ages, and I wonder whether that's the difference between a polytunnel and a greenhouse. I suspect that's the case. And a few more cucumbers and gherkins, and these are my late season sweet corn, and I'm quite pleased to see that there's some sign of life in there on all of them, so hopefully I'll get some sweet corn. So I've also got my Christmas potatoes, and I've moved most of them. As soon as they've broken the surface, basically, I've moved them into the polytunnel, and I'm amazed how quickly they broke the surface. It only took 10 days to get to this point, which is kind of amazing rate of growth. Yeah, my Malabar spinach is finally starting to climb, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm really enjoying the Malabar spinach actually. I'm just eating it in salads because it's just really lovely. Although Debbie says it's too earthy, but I like it. All my peppers, most of them are outside. I can't really tell the difference between the inside ones and the outside ones. And what else have we got? More Christmas potatoes down here, and I've also got my late cherry tomatoes, and I've got 2 tubs here, but I've also got these plants here, and so I'm hoping that these will again provide me with a nice late season crop. Some of these will be going home into the conservatory, and some will be staying in the polytunnel, and that is because I've got to take all of these tomatoes out, because this whole bed here is all going to be planted up in mid-September with all my winter crops. So tomatoes have to come out mid-September, so I'm hoping, and if you look at it, they're doing pretty well. I'm hoping they'll all be right by then, and if they're not, Debbie will be making a lot more green chutney, green tomato chutney. She's already started making some of that. I've cut back my celery as recommended by Terry, the robotic allotment or something. Yeah, so I'll see how that comes on. It's getting a bit ragged. I've also got a late courgette plant in there. We'll see how well that does. And I've got another one outside, and my baby carrots are doing well. Now I'm hoping that these again are all out by mid-September, because that's when I need these beds for all of the winter planting. hence they're only baby carrots and just baby carrots for salads. Same with the purslane, hopefully that will be out. I've just done a harvest of that and picked all the tops off, so hopefully it will start to bunch out a bit. Celery here, more baby carrots, and my French beans, and again hopefully these French beans will keep going for a nice long time. Okay, so that is the polytunnel outside. The peppers are doing quite nicely, as I said, just as well as the indoor ones, and cucumbers, outdoor cucumbers, which are really lovely. I'm really happy with these. I can't see any on at the moment, but there are some somewhere in there. There's 3 or 4 cucumbers, so that's good. These are my the latest crop that I put in of winter carrots. They're doing okay. We need some slightly better weather for them if I'm actually going to get a carrot crop there. I've got my last batch of golden beetroot there, and that is actually doing quite nicely. And I've finally got some radishes again. I don't bother growing radishes in the summer, they're just they're not good, but these look nice, perfect in fact, so we're pleased to get those in the salads. And then here are the cylindra. This is the last crop of cylindra beetroot. Whether we'll get a crop off, I don't know. In theory you will, but it's actually been quite a cool August, so if it stays this not so good weather, then maybe not. So down here I've just popped in some winter cabbages, and these are Winter King, I think. Maybe not Winter King, can't remember totally, but anyway, winter cabbages, so I'm really pleased with those. I popped in 3 sprouts. In fact, in each of these is like probably 2 sprout plants, and I will snip one of them off. Because I've got almost no viable sprouts at the moment, I've just popped 2 in just to give it a bit of an insurance policy. And then all the way down here, these are all of my early straws, and they will be in the polytunnel in Feb. So raspberries down here, not being hugely impressed by these raspberries, to be honest. They are okay. Gooseberries being eaten by the sawfly again. Never seem to actually see any sawfly, kind of seem to have gone before I even notice. Just planted these spring onions, and some radicchio there, and some chicory there, and then lots of chard. Now this will be a polythene tunnel in sort of October, November time. I found here the chard does not survive over winter. Well, it survives over winter, but you can't harvest from it. So hoping that with this tunnel we'll be able to harvest lovely chicory and chard. And I'm trialling the radicchio, growing these for hearts, and I've got some outside and I've got some in one of these little hoop tunnels as well, so we'll see the difference. Got some more Christmas potatoes here, and these are all my kind of late planted brassicas. So these are the ones basically that failed in every other bed. I've just popped them in here just to see, and I don't know, I'll see, but there's loads of sprouts in here. There's some broccoli, actually the broccoli's done pretty well. There's a red cabbage, another red cabbage here, just loads of sprouts. I don't know, I've really struggled with the brassicas that were planted in late July. Basically nothing took at all, so I'm really short on the July planting brassicas, which are the cabbages and some of the kales. And you'll see when I get to the brassica plot that we've got plenty of brassicas. It's not a shortage of that, it's just some specific varieties. So I've decided pretty much that I'm going to take this beam frame down, and that will give me another bed for planting. So we'll see how that goes. Just finished the calabrese on this plot, so this bed's just ready to be cleared. I was waiting for it to throw up some side shoots, but it doesn't look like there's no sign at all of side shoots even after a couple of weeks. So I think I'll get this out and get it replanted. Some gorgeous golden beetroot here. All of this is beetroot, beetroot. And yeah, I planted the spring onions in here maybe about a month ago, and basically they just withered and died. I don't know whether it was the heat or whether something was eating the roots, but when I've just pulled the last little bits out, there's basically no roots left. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but I've got plenty, so I've popped some more in. We'll just see how they go. And I popped them in here because this is a deep coal frame. It's one of the deepest ones I've got, and spring onions grow pretty tall, so that's where they had to go. It was the only bed I had to clear. Carrots maturing nicely for winter, leeks in here. Got a few tomatoes in here. In fact, most of those tomatoes have gone for passata. It's been a bit cold over the last few days, so cover's down. And in here are my sweet potatoes. Actually, I'm going to take these covers off now because the weather's improved. So this is kind of last of my baby leeks, which I'll probably be harvesting these tonight actually. And I did pop a few little bits and pieces of salad in here, and all of these all down the middle here and all down the side there all died, and they basically all died as a result of cutworms. I've never seen the cutworm, but the damage is classic, and it looks like this one is also, that one, about to keel over. And I mean, worm just moves around the bed and eats a salad every day, eats a lettuce every day. It's kind of weird. I just lost so many of them, but I'm going to water in some nematodes that kill cutworms, so hopefully I'll water it into all of my salad beds before I replant them, because I've got quite a few beds that are empty now. If you watched my video on beetroots with rust, they had really bad rust, and I just cut the tops off, and as you can see they've regrown really nicely now. Some of them are getting rust again, but I'll just take the odd leaf that's got rust off, and hopefully those plants will keep nice for well, into September when I harvest them. We've got all good harvesting size now. I've got another salad bed here, which again, these are just temporary salad beds. These aren't the ones that are going to last into autumn, and a few more here. So you can see I've not really got very many salads, and that's a good thing in a way at this time of year, because obviously nothing that's kind of in the ground at this level of maturity is going to last. So you know, all the beds are ready for replanting, or will soon be ready for replanting. A few more salads here, interplanted with radish. A few more golden beetroot here, which we're currently picking. A few spring onions here, which we're currently just picking as well, mostly for pickling onions, to be honest. And yeah, so in here, this is where I'm also growing my radicchio, and these are doing quite nicely. And there's no real need for this cover, but it was just high winds, so I closed it. And then crazy New Zealand spinach. This bed is going to be cleared over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and again they'll all be replanted. Another bed for replanting there, and then 2 carrot beds. These are just the working beds. This is the one we're harvesting from right now, and that's the bed that we'll be harvesting from at some time in the future. And I think, if memory serves me right, those are black carrots, and those are just lovely nants, I think. So I think that is pretty much everything that's going on my plot, maybe apart from just showing you some of the chilies, which are beautiful, which are doing quite nicely outside. More chilies here, again, really beautiful. And you could grow these as houseplants, couldn't you? They're just so nice. And I think when I was in here I didn't show you the seedlings. Seedlings are not really growing as fast as I would expect, but they're chugging along okay. Lots of stuff in here, some brassicas, which are again kind of just in reserve, some more cabbages, some more kales, first a little bit of spinach, which is just for salad, baby leaf for salads. The main spinach crops planting will be in September. And let's say some more carrots here, and some more brassicas, again just more. These are winter king cabbages, and some cauliflowers, and again just some little kales. These will probably end up in the polytunnel because they're so small. Okay, oh yeah, compost, loads and loads of compost, and it looks like we might have actually got a source of well rotted horse manure, cow manure, which would be fantastic. And unfortunately I've got nowhere to put any at the moment, so we're just trying to sort that out. But yeah, one of the local farmers that I got to know, and I'll be getting my meat from him soon, and also getting some manure, which is great stuff. So we'll just have a quick walk down to Debbie's plot, which is effectively our kind of kitchen garden plot, ornamental kitchen garden rather. So try and keep this plot looking nice. My plot, you know, is just it's productivity oriented, and it's still looking really nice, although it's quite lush, so it can be a little bit of a challenge to navigate. But we've still got loads of kalletes on here, which are doing really well. We've just been spraying those with Bacillus thuringiensis, or whatever it's called. Basically it's a soil bacteria, and picking off caterpillars, and they're actually surviving. But generally speaking, I find that kalletes do pretty well with caterpillars, because they're kind of red, and caterpillars don't like red things. Also this reborn kale has not had much of an issue, although you can probably see plenty of whitefly, but still not causing us a real problem. Right, so let's have a look at Jenny's plot, and as I've said, you know, this is where we have all of our brassicas, and well, mostly it's brassicas now, and potatoes. So we have got apples here as well though, and they are doing pretty well. We're still getting loads of windfalls. I was hoping we'd get less windfalls this year, but we probably have. But yeah, they're nice. We're eating these, and of course the windfalls, Debbie made loads of apple jelly, actually, apple and ginger jelly yesterday. So we'll see what that's like. More apples here, again, looking really nice. And these are not quite ready for picking yet, but these are. It's a shame we still haven't got any varieties that last well into autumn. That we've got some planted, but they're too small. So then we've got our sarpamiras down here, and I want to get these out soon actually. I don't want them to, I want them to grow, some of them to go to baking potato size, but I don't want them to grow too big and split, although kind of getting them too big would be a nice problem to have, given the lack of water that they've probably enjoyed. But they are kind of growing a little bit into these leeks. One of the reasons I want to get them out is because if I get this cow manure delivery, I want to manure this land. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. So as I said before, I had to take on the last video, all of these brassicas out of here. They all got cabbage root fly, which is a real shame, quite a blow. But I've got replacements, as you probably saw in the polytunnel. Some of those can go in there. Kalletes are still doing well. In fact, the kalletes are really the thing that's doing the best, although still some quite nasty cabbage aphid on some of them, in fact on quite a few of them, but I have started spraying, but I don't want to spray too much, and I'm only spraying with organic stuff, and obviously organic stuff is not 100% effective. Look over there, look, loads of aphid, but there's not that much you can do about it, I don't think. Just keep trying. And as you can see, kale, not great really in here. Some more kale in here as a replacement. This was only sown planted out a few weeks ago, and it does look as if it's taken. I took one plant out here. Again, more kind of sickly kale. So apart from really the kalletes in this bed, I can't say it's been a huge success. I'm just hoping that I get these kale neros to take. But do not fear, we've got some more brassicas. So the crown prints are doing really nicely. I haven't counted them up, but we've got more than we need anyway. It's the sort of thing that you probably only eat once a month, so there's a good probably eight or nine fruits in there. And these sweet corn have done very nicely, very pleased with those. I've been eating loads of those. We have got a few butternut squash now, but not very many. That's been a bit of a disaster. Even the curry, which we've got maybe 5 or 6 of those. Again, that's the sort of thing we eat probably once a month, so and probably the butternut squash once a month or something like that. So we probably end up with something once a week available. Loads of mildew now on the courgettes. They did stop fruiting, but now we've got a pretty good crop on some of them. But that's why I've got some new plants in the polytunnel, just to keep us going, because I can't see these lasting more than another month probably. It's kind of the same story with the French beans. As you can see, they're looking a bit yellow now, and I doubt there's no flowers on those anymore, so I should think they'll be finishing pretty soon. But then we've got the ones in the polytunnel which will carry on. Fortunately, I've also got this brassica bed, and this one is in much better condition. All the broccoli's in here, and I've got I have got some kale in here as well, and I've got loads of calabrese. So all in all, I've got some kale nero, I've got some kalletes, I've got some really nice kale on Debbie's plot, I've got loads of broccoli on here, various different types. As I say, I've got loads of calabrese, and if we have a peek in here, I don't know whether we'll be able to see, but I'm pretty sure we've got some calabrese. Okay, I found the calabrese. I've got about 4, I think, in here. I was on the wrong side of the bed, and yeah, I've just done a bit of tidying up whilst I was in there, and I think there's 2 calabrese really ready for picking, so it's a good job that it's harvest day today. So I've just got home, and yeah, I thought I would just put the bike away in the garage, and I thought I'd just show you our storage area, how it's filling up. So these are the sort of containers that we'll be putting the apples in. No apples yet, but they'll be coming soon. There's the garlic, and Debbie's just finished prepping this. Looks pretty good. First few curries, and then these are the onions. So we've got the, can't get them out easily, but the shallots, banana shallots on the top. They're not too bad. These were multi-sown, so they don't grow quite as big, but just a good size for us. Oh, it's so heavy. We've got the white onions, and the red onions. Whether they're getting enough air for storage, I'm not sure in those wire racks, but anyway, I'll see. And then here is where all the stuff will end up being stored. So we don't have a huge amount of storage, but we have so much fresh stuff in the ground we don't need it. I'll just quickly show you outside. These are little vegetable beds outside. We've got quite a few tomatoes in here, which we'll be clearing soon for preserves. Yep, they've been really good. Golden beetroot here, some kalletes here, strawberries. These are the perpetuals, and you can't see them, but there are actually a decent number of strawberries there every day, good handful, and I eat them every day. This is one of our winter carrot beds. We did leave these in the ground last year, but they got quite badly eaten by slugs, and you can kind of see maybe on that one that it's already been eaten by slugs. So we're probably going to lift these and not leave them for quite so long. Perpetual kale, well, that one's doing really nicely. This one never does quite as well at this time of year. It sort of springs back to life. Shard bed, this is the one we're currently harvesting. Debbie just made shard pie, which is a sweet pie, but it's one of its main ingredients was shard leaves, and it went down very well. So that bed's just recovering from that harvest. Blueberries are doing pretty well. We are, again, it's only kind of a handful a day of blueberries. And that suits me fine because I don't like doing bulk harvests of these sorts of things. I much prefer to just harvest what I need each day, and I only need a handful. Same with the raspberries, maybe 2 handfuls a day of raspberries. Those strawberries are ready to be cut back. They've been pretty good. I've just put some new blueberries in. We lost 3 blueberry plants with the beast from the east. They got very cold in these metal pots, buckets really, galvanised buckets, but anyway, hopefully we won't have another repeat performance of that, and we'll get more of them surviving. These are the sarpamira in pots, and these are huge. Just look at the size of those, massive. And then these are the carrots, kind of inspired by the muddy boots approach, Nigel's approach. So I've got 4 containers here, and my thought is that I will just move these containers inside away from slugs, but theoretically I could move them onto my little grow bench as well, which would provide some protection from slugs and snails. So I'm not 100% sure which one I'll do. If I have space inside, I'll probably move them inside and just store them in the compost. But they're not too bad. I'm quite pleased with them so far. You can see the size. It's not a bad carrot there. I don't want to pick them because these are my winter supply, and I'll have a lot more over winter than we've ever had before. So keeping all those, they're sweet candle. Quite excited to harvest these sarpamira because these have been well watered, and they're also in the biggest containers that I've got. So I actually want to see how good the harvest is of these. And there's only 4 pots, but if we get a good harvest, it should make quite a dent on our baking potato supply for winter. So I've run out of windowsill space at home, and so I'm just starting some of my seedlings here under these grow lights. It's actually not ideal because the grow lights put off a little bit of heat, and to be honest, all they need is light at this point. None of these lettuces or spring onions or anything want any heat, so not the best way to start them, but needs must. And then in the conservatory I've got some more lettuces. These are my winter lettuces and some autumn spinach, and some more winter lettuces, some Chinese cabbage, and some more winter lettuces basically, so quite a nice selection. And Debbie's just been out to buy some more containers for preserving. I'll just show you what she's preserved so far. In fact, this isn't everything that she's preserved, but it's the stuff that she hasn't given away. So here we are. Goes back quite a long way. And up there as well. And she's only just got started. So there's all sorts of stuff here. There's apple jelly, garlic, nasturtium capers, apple and ginger jelly, more garlic, loads of passata, damsons, pickled beans, more passata, loads and loads of passata, all sorts of different chutneys, more passata, gooseberry and orange jam, pickled plums that look like bums, pickled damsons, yeah, all sorts, vinegars, and in the freezer there's obviously loads as well, so yeah, lots of stuff. So it's the end of the day now and we've just done the harvest, and actually I noticed that I've lost the video tour of Debbie's plot, just the intro in this video, so you have to wait for a week and then you'll see Debbie's plot in all its glory. But yeah, I'll just quickly show the harvest and then I'll be off. So I've got some cucamelons, some nice green onions, some beans, French beans, sweet corn, leeks, baby leeks, runner beans, courgettes, more sweet corn, mixed herbs, peppers and chilies, tomatoes, carrots, cucumbers. There's actually loads of cucumbers under there. Spinach, potatoes, radishes to go in the salad mixes, stock mix. It's in there, lots of herbs and celery and stuff. And salads, lots of salads, beetroot, golden and red, chard, more spinach, mixed brassicas, and more baking potatoes. Slightly scabby, as you can see, but they will be fine. So there we go. There's an overview of today's harvest. Not too bad. See you soon. So I thought I'd just show you the harvest all boxed up and ready to go.